Nam Nammo Akasagarbha Homa Let's pay homage to the lineage Guru and the rituals of the altar. Second, to all bodhisattvas. Third, to all Harukas and Dharma protectors. Fourth, Hepa. We are inviting the primary supplicants for this Homa to come forward and present the offering of Hatha to the lineage Guru as a symbol of the highest honor. Now let's applaud and show our utmost gratitude to His Holiness for His blessings. Now inviting His Holiness to bless the offering items at the shop. Inviting His Holiness to take the Homa throne. We're inviting Sumo, all the Dharma Masters, reference, our distinguished guests, and all participants to please be seated. All, let's show our utmost gratitude to His Holiness for presiding over this Homa, and would also like to extend warm welcome to Sumo, all participating masters, reference, and all participants from all over the world. The Akasagarbha Homa fire offering has now begun. Visualize true Buddha lineage. Namo Vairocana Buddha, Namo Buddha Lokana, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Living Buddha Lian-Sheng, Namo Padma-Kumara, Namo Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. Visualize Grandmaster and all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas radiate light to bless us. Recite the Guru Mantra 7 times. Om Guru Lian-Sheng Siddhi Hom, 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 Om Guru Lian-Sheng Siddhi Hom. Recite purification mantras and the deity mantra. Om Shudori Shudori Shuhori Shuhori Soha, Om Vajrada Ho Om, Namo Samato Motoran, Om Duru Duru Deve Soha. Lien Zhao Qing Zhou, Om A. It's an invocation mantra. Om A Om Soha, Om A Om Soha. We sincerely invoke our lineage Guru, the White Mahapadma-Kumara, His Holiness Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. Our lineage Guru, the White Mahapadma-Kumara, His Holiness Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. Our lineage Guru, the White Mahapadma-Kumara, His Holiness Living Buddha Lian-Sheng. We sincerely invoke the main deity of Homa, Namo Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. The main deity of Homa, Namo Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. The main deity of Homa, Namo Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. We sincerely invoke Namo Yamantaka, Akala, the four heavenly kings, Golden Mother of the primordial Jetpon, Sma Bodhisattva, Rainbow temples, all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Harukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and divinities. All the deities enshrined at the True Buddha Temple Quarter, at the Seattle Lechang Temple, at the abode of the Southern Mountain, and at the True Buddha Seattle chapter. Rainbow temples, mountain god, earth god, plant god, wind god, water god, heavenly fire god, dragon gods, all divinities as well as the city god, to please radiate light and bless this Homa. Great homage using visualization. First to Root Guru and all Buddhas. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra. Second to all Bodhisattvas. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra. Third to all Harukas and Dharma protectors. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra. Fourth head bow. Great mandala offering, form the offering mudra. Visualize the transformations of the offerings to become innumerable to fill the whole space. Make the offering above the lineage guru, all lineage gurus, the main deity of Homa, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. All Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Harukas, Dhammapalas, Dakinis, and divinities, and below to the sentient beings. Mount Meru, four continents and sun and moon transform into places of rest for the Buddhas. May these wondrous treasures and merits purge our karma to allow for civilization. For full refuge, visualize our lineage root guru, all the lineage gurus, Buddha jewel, Dharma jewel, and Sangha jewel to form bright white light to empower us. Reset the mantra. Alma protection. Reset Vajrapani mantra 7 times. Inviting souls to perform blessings with Mom. Inviting His Holiness to set ceremonial demarcation to bless the prayers, registration forms, and the offerings with Vajra bell and scepter. Inviting His Holiness to perform the ritual of opening the fire pit and set ceremonial demarcation around it. Inviting His Holiness to lit the Homa fire, to perform mudra transformations for purifications, enrichments, magnetization, subjugation, and Bardo deliverance. The assembly will be reciting the Hat mantra of the main deity of Homa today, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva. And during this time, you may also perform the Homa visualization, which is the emergence of the main deity, the merging of the main deity and the Homa fire, and the merging of yourself into the Homa fire. Visualize the Homa fire to burn away all your karma. Recite the mantras of the eight principal deities and incan Buddha Amitabha.
Namo 36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。Namo 36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。Namo 36万亿1万9500同名同号阿弥陀佛。回向。
Narrow dedication. May all uphold the Buddha, ascend to the realm of utmost bliss, repaying for full generosities from above, aiding those in the three realms below. Upon seeing the Buddha, may we transcend life and death. Like the Buddha, may we live with all. Dedicate the memory of this Homa to our lineage Guru. May you stay healthy, live a long life with great self-mastery, continue to stay in the Saha world to turn the Dharma wheel. Inviting His Holiness to perform the overall merit dedication. Homage. To the Treasury Vajra. Homage to the treasure store Vajra. Homage to the treasure store Vajra. We pray to the treasure store Vajra to bestow upon all participants wisdom, memory, and fame. We pray to the treasure store Vajra to guide the Bardo spirits to be reborn into the pure land of fragrance realm. Please bless all participants with good health, the eradication of illnesses, may they be endowed with good memory, endowed with abundant resources, endowed with good memory, and with harmony, love and respect, and endowed with abundant resources. Wholeheartedly, we pray for auspiciousness during the day and around the clock. May we have the ultimate bright radiance and attain fruition through our spiritual cultivation. To the gods of the heavens, gods of the earth, may we be far from all calamities, may all calamities abandon us, let all disasters turn into dust. We pray to Akasagarbha Bodhisattva to bless us so that all obstructions vanish, so that all enemies and enmities disappear. We say 100 syllable mantra 3 times.
Ha 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 bhagavan sawa tathagata petsamami mancha petsapavam mahasamaya sato ahom pe om petsa sato samaya manupanaya petsa sato tenu paditha seso me pawa suto kayu me pawa sopo kayu me pawa anurato me pawa sawa sidi me purayasa sawa karma satame sitamo sirijan guru hom ha 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 bhagavan sawa tathagata petsamami mancha petsapavam mahasamaya sato ahom pe om petsa sato samaya manupanaya petsa sato tenu paditha seso me pawa suto kayu me pawa sopo kayu me pawa anurato me pawa sawa sidi me purayasa sawa karma satame sitamo sirijan guru hop ha 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 bhagavan sawa tathagata petsamami mancha petsapavam mahasamaya sato ahom pe.
Great homage using visualization, first to Root Guru and all Buddhas. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra, second to all Bodhisattvas. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra, third to all Harukas and Dharma protectors. Visualize for procession on the ground, release the mudra, fourth hepa. Recite completion mantra.
Om Brim, Om Brim, Om Mani Padme Hum。请大家起立，恭敬合掌，恭请圣尊升法王座。
Now let's join our palms, and together with reference, we're inviting His Holiness to take the Dharma teaching seat. Now please be seated. And now let's applaud once again to show our utmost gratitude to His Holiness for presiding over this wonderful Homa fire offering ceremony. Now let's join our palms, and together with reverence, we are inviting His Holiness to bestow the precious Dharma teaching. First, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, Homage to Master Sakya Tsongkhung. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thubten Tarshi. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva, the Vajra of the store of treasures. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma instructors, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are Accountant to Buddha School, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband, and a member of the Buddha School Scholars and Professors Group, Professor Dr. Liang Caofan. Producers for Kenny Tianshang Xinten from CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca Xiachi, Dr. Ryan Zhuang, Dr. Su Ling, and the rep for the council from Taipei City, Dharma Sister Xue Huiling, and the daughter of the former council from Kaohsiung City, Dharma Sister Wu Shen. Good afternoon, everybody. How do you do? I would like to announce for next Sunday, August 27th, Sunday at 3, there would be the Mahottara Haruka Homa fire offering ceremony. And this is a very special one, extraordinary one. Just this mantra can alleviate illnesses. Very responsive. So Mahottara Haruka has huge, tremendous power, and also there are eyes all over his body. Eyes. And there would also be empowerment for the truth of true Buddha wisdom, all the wisdom of true Buddha school, and then the empowerment for Mahottara Haruka, and the empowerment for the practice for eyes all over the body. That would be next Sunday. Typically, for Mahottara ceremony, there would be many miracles. Those who suffer from ailments, or when you have sores and pain all over the body, there are many illnesses that can be cured. So you will visualize the areas that are sick, and by listening to the mantra and visualizing the areas of your body that are sick, then the sicknesses will be eradicated. And there was a miracle when the ceremony was at the CKS Hall, the Memorial Park in Taipei, organized by the Zhongguan chapter. There was a bus that was driving by the CKS Hall, and someone on the bus had a tumor on his neck, and he was going to the hospital for treatment. and he knew that he had the tumor on his neck. And as he was passing by the ceremony, he heard the mantra of the Mahotara Haruka. He did not attend the ceremony. He did not belong to the Buddha school. He was just passing by. When he heard the mantra, he felt warm all over his body, and he felt electricity, electric current coming through his body. And in the morning, he still felt the tumor, but when he got to the hospital and the doctor examined it, and the doctor said, "Where had it gone to?" And he looked at himself in the mirror, and the tumor was gone. It was quite a miracle. Just by hearing the mantra of Mahotara Haruka. And then he felt warmth all over his body and felt some electric current going into his body, and the tumor was gone. So we have to visualize. So next week that would be very wonderful, and the mantra is very much, really strong, very powerful. And this is the mantra that I like most of all the mantras. Do you know how to chant the mantra, Master Lian? I'll give you a test. Please chant the mantra of Mahotara Haruka. Uh-oh, you failed. Someone came out by herself. The mantra is extremely important. Today we perform Akasagarbha Bodhisattva because tomorrow we had the sun eclipse. Tomorrow is sun eclipse. And Akasagarbha resides in space, in the sky. And we heard that his Pure Land is on the stars. And he's considered the treasury Vajra. His wisdom is the same as the sky. And we know the 8 great bodhisattvas, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, Maitreya, Samantabhadra, Maitreya, Akasagarbha, Vajrapani, Manjusri, Viskambi, Siddhigarbha. So of all the 8 great bodhisattvas, Akasagarbha is considered in the wisdom area. And he has 3 vows. Is that he would like to bestow the perfect wisdom upon sentient beings. And second is to bestow perfect memory upon sentient beings. By practicing this deity, you can recover lots of your memories. As you age, you would have memory loss. As you get older, when you reach the 70s, you would start to forget some things. in the 90s, you will forget everything. Like what Chen Chuan-fang said, Linda, that at the age of 1, you're born, and at 10, you're in studies. At 20, you're at the top of your youth. At 30, you're into career. At 40, you start to gain weight. At 50, you're at your mid-age, whatever. And at 60, by blood pressure start to go up. At 70, you start to forget. At 80, you wobble when you walk. At 90, you lost yourself. You lost your direction, and at 100, you hang on the wall. So when you reach 70s, when you practice the Akasagarbha Bodhisattva, then you would always have good memory. So you would remember when you read, and you remember all the mantras, and you remember all the looks or image of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So you would remember the mantras, the looks, and the mudras. Then that would be incredible. Many people can memorize. Like when they were young, they memorized the 300 poems of the Tang dynasty, and they pass any test you give. And they have good memory. Some people, that they can memorize 100 different songs. And Grandmaster has written 262 books, and they memorize all the books from book number 1 to 262. Shiyachi's son, what was his family name? Tai Jin could memorize from book 1 to book 200. And he did not forget once he read. And I heard that Tai Jin did not like to study. He liked to play the computer, to play the games. But very strange that when he reads once, that's it. Then he just play, but yet he is first in class. That he never forgets what he reads, and with one glance he could read 10 lines. He has a very strong memory, like memorizing the English words. He would know once he sees it. His English is good. He ranked first in school in Uyghur, and he's enrolled into the Taita, National Taiwan University, and to the medical school, electrical school. So he passed for many universities, and he ranked first for all of them. kid is quite incredible. But for us, we forget everything. And the mantra for Akasagarbha, so when you chant the mantra, there should be pause. Like the mantra chanting earlier, that was continued. So the mantra chanting should be divided. It's not that you chant it continuously and with loudly. And sometimes you can chant it softly or gently. Sometimes that's good too. It doesn't have to be strongly or loudly. I don't like the mantra chanting today, frankly speaking. I don't like the mantra chanting that they played today. Please play it once again. If you chant like this, that there's no variations at all. You can just chant once and then you just repeat it over and over. That's not acceptable. So Akasagarbha, his body is white, he's wearing a crown. And he's sitting upon a blue-green lotus. His right arm is held inward and holds a flaming sword. And left fist is at his waist and carrying a lotus with the pearl-shaped jewel. So his body is white. So wearing white is fine. But the sixth syllable, kang, is blue. It's like the sky blue because the sky is blue. So white is fine too today. Wearing white is okay today. He's considered wisdom, memory, and honor and glory. So you can pray to him for these three. And the Vajra name is the treasury Vajra. And the Pure Land is called the fragrance Pure Land. So the 8 great bodhisattvas each has their own Pure Lands, and Akasagarbha's Pure Land is called the fragrance realm. And his Pure Land is in the whole sky like the stars. And Akasagarbha so the 2 secret gates of merits and wisdom. And the mudra is like this. Inward. And then the 2 index fingers like forming a treasure jewel. And his image, pay attention to his right hand, which is holding a treasure sword, and the left hand is holding a lotus. And at the top of the lotus, there is also a treasure jewels. So the form of the treasures are like this, typically in this form. And during sun or moon eclipse, if you practice Akasagarbha Dharma practice, it would be extremely responsive. And he's once said that this is the key formula, that during the sun eclipse, you perform the Akasagarbha Dharma and you visualize his sword to become white light entering into a bowl of water which you are to drink. So you make an offering of water and also a glass of water that you will drink. And you visualize the sword and the treasures to become white light. The sword becomes white light entering into the bowl of water, and the treasures to become many colored light to enter into the water. And during the sun and moon eclipse, after the Dharma practice, you drink the glass of water. And that would be the same as Akasagarbha Bodhisattva giving you blessings, so that you would have more wisdom, better memory, and all your wishes fulfilled. And tomorrow is the sun eclipse. And during the sun eclipse, during that time, you practice the Akasagarbha Dharma. Then you would be able to receive personal blessings from Akasagarbha. This is the pith instruction, the key formula. As I said before, in the past, Kobodaishi or Kukai, and the cave where Kobodaishi practiced, have you been there? When you visited Japan, have you visited the cave where Akasagarbha practiced? There was someone there. Have you been to that cave? No? No one? I've been to the cave where Kobodaishi practiced. He cultivated spiritually inside the cave and had Akasagarbha as his yidam, the Dharma of praying. So he was sitting at the mouth of the cave, looking at the ocean and the sky. And the star descended, and a ray of white light entered into his mouth. And Kobodaishi had great memory. So that's the practice, to pray for listening and thinking. So with the blessings by Akasagarbha, then you would have really great memory. You will not forget. It's written here, Akasagarbha Bodhisattva has special uniqueness, that his merits fill the sky. He could be as the world deity. His wisdom is also filled the whole sky, and then his wisdom also filled the whole sky, and memory. So if you want to become a king or a president or become officers, and you want to have great power and authority, then you can practice Akasagarbha. This is what's special about him. So anyone who registered for the primary supplicants all have good memory, because tomorrow is already the sun eclipse. It's quite close. So practice today. And then if you combine today and tomorrow, that's fine. It's not long apart, so your memory will still be good. You'll have better memory. Remember his look. The crown that Akasagarbha is wearing is the same as the crown that Vairocana is wearing. And this hand is holding the sword, and this hand is holding the treasures. Now we will continue to talk about Lamdre. The second is the beginning of the affinity of the scenes. And the beginning of the scenes divided into four. The scene of the channels and the body. So the channels inside the body. The scene of the channel seats. There are seat syllables on the channels. Or in the body there are seat syllables. And the scene of the area ambrosia and the scene of the chi. There are four kinds of scenes that would appear during spiritual cultivation. And there are explanations here too. The scene of the channels inside the body, the gathering of the mind chi by relying on the central channel at the place where the cement and blood are on the 2 channels and 32 channel knots. One will see mountains and cliffs. When the mind chi gathers at the 72,000 extra fine channel areas, one will see oneself entering into the 3 branches, etc. Like the central channel that we are talking about today, typically I would say that in our practice of Qi primarily is to open the central channel. And there's 7 chakras in the body: the crown chakra, the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the navel chakra, the secret chakra, and the base chakra. So this is called the 3 channels and 7 chakras, which you have to remember. And the most important is the central channel. So the channel from the top of your head to the base. And when this channel is open and flowing, then light will be emitted. So that's why it's called the radiant channel, or the illuminated channel. So in tantric practices, the most important ones are the Qi channel and light drops. And the light drops that appear are the area ambrosia. If the 5 area ambrosia is evenly distributed, and gathers at the 5 syllables of the heart, one will see 5 kinds of names Tathagatas. By increasing the power of the 2 kinds of red and white ambrosia at the brow and secret area, one will see sun and moon. So the 5 Buddhas will be on your body. So in the body mandalas, at the brow chakra is Vairocana Buddha. At the throat chakra is Amitabha Buddha. At the heart chakra is Akshobha Buddha. At the navel chakra, it's Ratnasambhava Buddha. And at the secret chakra is the Amoghasiddhi Buddha. So including the 6 syllables, Vairocana Buddha, 6 syllable. When we recite Vairocana's mantra, how do you? Peta Tatu Fan. So, A, We, La, Hom, Kan. These 5 syllables are on your body, which is earth, water, fire, wind, and space. They are all inside your body. So as long as the central channel is open, sometimes a scene will appear. What he writes here is kind of strange. That you would see your own body entering into the tree branch. What does it mean? Actually, the tree branch or the tree trunk is the central channel. So when your soul entering into the central channel, it's the same as seeing yourself entering into the tree trunk. So that's the scene of the channels of the body. And the sits or the syllables that gathers, then they would see the lighting of the lamp that eliminates ignorance. Then you would see light, clear light. When the central channel is open, then naturally light would be eliminated. So the 6 paths, what are they? So the 6 realms, hell, hungry ghost, animal, human, asura, and the heavenly realm. And you would be able to see all of them. And that's the scene of the channel seeds. Actually, in Grandmaster's mantra, there are the 6 paths. Ahasasamaha. They are the 6 paths. So also related to the 6 syllables, you can see the places of the 6 paths. Then you would see the phenomena of the 6 paths. And the 5 area ambrosia is evenly distributed and gathers at the 5 syllables of the heart. One will see the 5 kinds of Tathagatas. You will see Vairocana Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, Akshobha Buddha, Ratnasambhava Buddha, Amoghasiddhi Buddha. See the 5 Buddhas. At this time, then the ambrosia at the brow point will increase. And then the power of the white and red ambrosia at the secret area. So white body and red body. So your blood will increase and your semen will increase. That's the power of the 2 kinds of ambrosia. And one will see the sun and moon of the 3,000 worlds. You would be able to see the sun and the moon and all the suns and moons of the 3,000 worlds. So this is the 4 scenes. And then the scene of the Qi. Gathering the earth's Qi at the basic place of navel, one will see smoke and such scenes. If you want to ignite in a fire, when you close your eyes, you would be able to see smokes. In Tantrayana, it's said that if you see smokes in the faraway place, then you know there would be fire. So if you see smokes, then you know that your inner fire is about to be ignited. How is the inner fire ignited? If you see smokes in front of your eyes, then you know that your inner fire is about to be generated. At that time, only at this time, you can use the strong breathing. There was a master that especially taught people to breathe strongly, but actually you should not do it normally. Normally, you can only use the long, gentle, and fine breathing. If you use a very powerful breathing, only when you see smokes and only when the fire is about to be generated. You use this powerful breathing to push and then to ignite it, so that the fire would be ignited. And this is the inner fire. Words through the grapevine. X was practicing inner fire at the Padma Kumara hall, and she said, with Hom, the inner fire was generated. And there were many sariras generated in her body. And then at the end she said that the disciples stole all of her sariras. If sariras were generated, why didn't you pick them, gather them, so that when fellow disciples, but instead you say disciples went to that Padma Kumara hall and stole the sariras. And if you have such a psychic power, you would know which disciples stole them, and you can ask them back, or at least some of them, because she said that she produced many sariras. When Grandmaster ignited the inner fire, there were also many sariras generated. I kept them in my room, and I give a little bit, a few to people who wanted it. They were not stolen. How could your sariras were stolen? So you didn't see the sariras when you got up? This is a question. Was her inner fire really ignited? Did she see smoke? And when you see smokes, you have to do the powerful breathing. Do you know what it is? Very, very quick and strong. And you have to press and push so that the inner fire would appear. And very fast, very powerful, very strong. And then the inner fire would be ignited. That's all I could explain. You just kind of like push, push, push. Sometimes you're dead, exploded. You can die. because this short and harsh breathing. Do you know that illness Ma Sang Fong is the heart was beating so fast, and then then you become like Bruce Lee, like you died during intercourse. So when you see the smoke, then you have to do this powerful breathing. Then inner fire would appear. And the greatest Mahasiddha for inner fire practice was Mahamelarabha. He went through a lot of hardships. He worked really hard and for a very, very long time at his inner fire practice. He had to press at the navel chakra and rub it, and use chi to rub it. It's like the bat to keep beating on it, using the breath that you take in, a very strong and powerful to push on the navel area. And you have to visualize the red Dorje Patmo. And you visualize the sit syllable, the half ah sit syllable, that becomes Vajrayogini or Dorje Patmo, like a fire, and also like curving. And then you use the wind through the left and right channels to blow on it, and to blow and press on it to ignite the fire. And you keep visualize that point of heat, and using the wind to blow on it. And when there's that point, and with the power of the wind, then they would be ignited. That's inner fire. And in Hinduism, it's called the Kundalini practice. That's inner fire. Kundalini is inner fire. It's also translated as like a spirit snake, like the fire snake that's burning the whole body. Ajahn was fighting with her husband and ignoring each other, seated on the sofa, and they were playing with their cell phones. And Ajahn couldn't hold it and farted. And the husband farted even louder. And Ajahn got mad. Oh, you're arguing with me? That's qi. That's the function of qi, or gas. Actually, the gas is the qi. Master Lian-Teng, which is the family Dharma brother of Master Lien Miao, one time he was traveling and he was wearing the paper underwear, so you don't have to wash it and you can just throw it away. It's a disposable underwear. And it wasn't enough. Why? Because he farted. Every time he farted, it would split apart. And the pieces of papers fell inside the Lama's skirt as he walked. When we went to India, he said it himself. This paper, disposable paper underwear, is not good because when you farted, then there would be holes and disintegrate. So the qi practice of Master Lian-Teng was very good. honestly speaking, Master Lian-Teng's spiritual cultivation was very good. He got cancer, diagnosed with cancer, and was told that he could only live for 3 months, but he endured it. He withstood it for 4 years. And during the 4 years, he was still normal. He was not affected or grieved by his cancer. And in this case, Grandmaster lost to Master Lian-Teng. Master Lian-Teng's CD or attainment, he attained the Hua Guang Buddha, or the Buddha of Lotus Light. He was completely unmoved. He had a lung cancer already to the nth degree, but his life was still very routine. He was still totally unaffected. His mood was totally unaffected. That when he had all tubes all over his body, he could still meditate on the sick bed. That all the doctors and nurses in the hospital came by to take a look at the patient. Why? Because this patient was still meditating with needles and tubes all over his body. I couldn't do that. I'm not able to do that. If I am sick, then I would start to complain. How can I still talk and laugh as if nothing's happened? But for him, he could be like just a normal, well person for 4 years, and he had no fear whatsoever. So he was really great. So that's why he could have the attainment of the Lotus Light Buddhahood. And he showed himself to the second in command of the Tzu Chi Foundation, called the Venerable Tzu Zunzi. And Master Lian-Teng emitted the golden rays of light, wearing a beautiful golden outfit, appearing to show the Tzu Zunzi, which is the one below the Venerable Elder Educator of Tzu Chi Foundation under the Venerable Cheng-yen. So this elderly venerable nun bowed and prostrated to Master Lian-Teng. And her attendants was trying to hold her. There's no need for you to bow all the way down, to bow all the way down. But Tzu Zunzi insisted on making the prostration to Master Lian-Teng. So extremely great. And then thinking of myself when I'm sick, like the splitting headache, like the brain splitting. At that time, I was already dazed. I told Simu, if I'm not a Buddhist and spiritual cultivator, I would jump off the building. I would jump off the house, my house. Right? Right, Simu? I told her, If I'm not a Buddhist suffering this, I would jump off the building. We got to the hospital and the doctor asked Simu, asked her if I want to die. And Simu said yes. I cannot stand it with just one illness. But your disciple, Master Lian-Sheng, with all the tubes on his body, he could be seated on his sick bed and meditating. I was really moved that Lian-Sheng could do it, but his guru cannot. I'm not. Okay, thank you. But frankly speaking, I'm afraid of illnesses. Every time I'm sick, then I would start to complain, and I would start telling Golden Mother, if you let me be like this any longer, then I would become a Muslim. I would complain to the Bodhisattvas. If you let me continue like this, then I would become a Christian again. Because I suffered greatly. But Master Lian-Sheng could not. You know, the lung cancer is the most painful. But he was very strong for 4 years. I extremely admire him. He's really wonderful. It's really extraordinary. I am too minuscule. I can't compare to him. The wife said, last night I got up and went to the bathroom, and my sandals were on the husband's side, so she climbed over the husband's body and then went to the bathroom. And then afterwards, she also went to the husband's side and climbed over and slept. The husband did not wake up. You know, honey, I had a dream last night, and I dreamed that a huge truck rolled over me twice. There are two meanings. So that meant that the wife is very huge, because it's a huge truck twice. And second meaning, this is also a kind of scene. A lady in her 30s looks pretty good and with a good job. And then one day Xiaoming asked her, how come you're not married yet? You have good qualification. Oh, because I joined the running when I was young, so I have some scar at the bottom of the field. But how is that related to you not getting married? And then the lady replied, that's right. So is it your business whether I get married or not? So actually, There are lots of things that's not our business. We should just cultivate spiritually the best we can and mind our own business, mind our own spiritual cultivation, and don't worry about others, because we don't have much time, really. You think that human life is very long. You know, it's like the box of Kleenex. And you thought like, wow, it's a stack of tissues, so human life should be very long. And you keep pulling the tissue and very fast it's gone. Human life is like that. I still feel I'm young. I'm very young. When someone asks me how old I am, then I would think, oh, I'm 73 already. And then it occurred to me that time is not much time. Now, the most important thing is to be reborn into the Buddha lands, to the Pure lands. When you're young, you can study more, you can listen to more talks and Dharma teachings, and at middle age, you focus on one Dharma practice until you gain spiritual response. Then you have assurance that you would be reborn. And when you're old, then you still don't have any spiritual response. Then you can only pray, and you can only be focused on the Buddha, and you chant the Buddha's mantra or the Buddha's name, epithet, and you focus and in full concentration to want to go there, because you have no time. Please don't gossip, don't talk about meaningless stuff. That's important. Talking about this, words through the grapevine, that X and Reverend Lian-Lei at the Vajra Diamond Temple in New York City. I mean, no, not just the two of them, but a group of people were dining together, including X and Reverend Lian-Lei. Just the two of them, or together? Together. And X took a fruit. No fruit here. But on the dining table there were many fruits. And she took a red grape seed and gave it to Reverend Lian-Lei. Eat it. And Reverend Lian-Lei said, why do you want me to eat the seed of a grape? Why do you want me to eat this grape seed? Oh, because I want to give you fruition. I'm giving you fruition. And Reverend Lian-Lei thought, is fruition to be given? No, it's not to be given. Fruition is something that you attain through your own practice. It has to rely on yourself, on your own practice. Human life is not very long. So she wanted to give her the seed of a fruit and telling her, giving her fruition. Did she eat it? Yes. I wasn't there. So how did you know that she ate it? She said it. She ate it. So fruition is not to be given. Fruition is attained through your own practice. Without practice, how can you have fruition from your practice? So you cannot say things as you like. Spiritual cultivation depends on yourself, not on any others. And if you say spiritual centers, the biggest spiritual center belongs to Venerable Ching-yen, and she has the most money according to Taiwan statistic. Oh, jeez. So it's, I don't know, 19 billion? Or trillion. And the second biggest spiritual center belongs to the Foguang Sun, the mountain of Buddha's light. None of True Buddha School spiritual centers is as big as that, and you think it's big, but no. And also the spiritual centers for Huagu San, that building that we pass by every day in Taiwan, that one floor is only 100 million already. So with 9 levels, then there would be 900 million. So that's only a chapter in Taichung City. So what is Zhenfo Zhong? What is True Buddha School? You know how big is Zhongtai? So for the big, how big it is, we can't compare to others. But for our attainments, we have the greatest. Just look at Master Lien Teng. Only Master Lien Teng, that's already the greatest. And Master Lien Miao is here. And she thinks like, but I'm supporting her. I'm the one that's taking care of him. I am his back support. That's what Master Lien Miao thinks. I'm the biggest. But there's no need to compare. Who's the biggest? So when you die, you can be reborn in the Pure Land, or you can have attainments, or you can attain Buddhahood, then that would be the greatest. But the biggest temples or the most beautiful statues are useless. So the greatest is when you can have attainments. Sakyamuni Buddha ever once said that what is the greatest is when you are in union with the Tao, with the way. And if you are completely merged with the way, then you would be the greatest. Foot pain, and I went to the doctor, and after the examination, the doctor said, call mom. And the patient, like, why? And the doctor said, call mom. And the patient was really confused. Why? And the doctor became impatient and glared at him. Just call mom. Wait. And the patient was very unwilling, but then called her mom, mama, mom. But actually the doctor was saying, I mean, it's a homophone in Chinese, jiao mama. It's like, is your leg numb? But in Chinese sounds like call mom. So it's a homophone, playful in Chinese. So it didn't correspond. Just now we talked about qi. And now we talk about channels. And the channels is also the beginning of the affinity of sin. As soon as the channels is open and flowing, then there would be light. When the inner fire is ignited, there would be fire. So these are all important. When the inner fire is generated, then you would be able to have the scene of the ambrosia, because when the inner fire rises, and the divine water would increase and would drips. And then when the hormone increase, then your skin would be white and smooth and radiant, and your whole body would be radiant. So hormone is this area ambrosia. So area ambrosia, the modern term is hormone. Then it would be wrinkled and coarse and with these pores. But my skin is still very nice. So I just saw about Qi Bai Si, the famous Chinese painters. He lived to be 93, and at that time he wanted to marry a 22-year-old girl. So the painter Qi Bai Si wanted to marry her, but good thing it didn't happen because he died at 93. How many wives did he have? 5. And when he was 93, he wanted to marry a wife, and someone introduced a 40-year-old woman, and he said too old. He wanted a 22-year-old. So his area ambrosia was very strong. So that's why he had such a sign. And otherwise, without the ambrosia, he had no desire, no such desire. That's all for today, Om Mani Padme Hum. We are very grateful to His Holiness' precious and wonderful teachings. In a moment, there would be the empowerment for Akasagarbha. And during the empowerment, please remember to visualize the deity, form the mudra, and recite the mantra. This ends the English interpretation today. Please remember to return your receivers. Thank you.
恭请圣尊赐予与会大众西空场菩萨法灌顶，含有皈依结缘灌顶。 掌声感谢师尊赐受虚空场菩萨法灌顶。护摩法会圆满即将结束了，非常感谢根本传承上师的大加持，感谢师母、诸位上师、教授师、法师、讲师、助教贵宾、同门善信大德的护持。